Hey guys, so I'm going to take a little bit of time today to tell you a little bit of my story. I grew up in Hazel Park, and for those of you that grew up with me, you know that it was not like it is today, and it's seen times worse than it is now. So, still a place I consider home after all my times of traveling all over, and I have memories good and bad there. And the one I want to talk about is when I was in junior high, I was bullied a lot, but my backstep change happened between my 7th and 8th grade year. I took a martial arts class at the Hazel Park Rec Center. Before that, picked on all the time, because when you're a 600-pound kid, you get picked on a lot. For that matter, when you're a 600-pound kid walking with leg supports on an elevator, your teasing gets relentless. Throw on that you have clothes that don't fit. And if you do wear stuff, it's stuff that their uncles or grandparents wore because you're so big it has to be from the Fat Guy's Clothes Store on John R. and 9 Mile Road, for those of you that remember that from back in the day. But at any rate, I was constantly tormented. Relentless. The difference was I knew the value of life, be it through my own experiences, what I saw at home, and what I was and wasn't taught, other lessons through other things. I understood it wasn't right to pick on others, even though if they picked on me. But what I didn't understand, till after that martial arts classes, I do have the right to defend myself. So fast forward, it's woodshop now in 8th grade, and the tormentings went to a new level. They started using there's these belt sanders they used to have, and they would take pieces of wood and they'd sharpen them and they'd sling them at me. And they would stick in me because obviously I was, had on these like crazy sweaters. And they would stick, and little pieces of wood would stick. And so my shop teacher finally, said, "Okay, James, you know what? This one kid that keeps doing it, defend yourself if you see the need. Like, don't ever, here on out, I got your back if that's the case." So one day I did. I asserted myself. And I defended myself. And that little group of bullies, and there was a group of 5 of them, they got checked that day by me. Things were different going forward. Things were different with our group of kids going forward. And there on out, all the other kids who didn't have a voice to stand for themselves followed me because they felt that I would stand for them. And I did a couple other times in junior high after that. But I also want to point out that it resulted in the kid getting taken out by a stretcher. He was really hurt. And so I got called down to the principal's office for the fight. At the time, my assistant principal at the school, who's my Facebook friend today, which is awesome, he called my mom, and my mom and him sat, and they spoke to me, and my mom's like, "If James fights, somebody must have really done something wrong." And so he looked at him, looked at me, looked at my mom, said, "Okay," and that's the end of it. And that's the problem today. When you have zero tolerance in these schools and all this bullying that's going on, what options do kids have to defend themselves until they finally snap? And then it's too late. So I know everyone's screaming about guns. I get it. You think guns are the answer because we're all afraid. We all want to protect our kids. I understand that. But what you're forgetting is it's just another extreme, and it won't change the problem. The problem in bullying, the problem in kids snapping and grabbing guns and going crazy, or any other man going crazy with a gun, or woman, or whatever, of the 33,000 people that die from gun deaths every year, it's fear and hopelessness, mental illness. Yes, mental illness. That is where, if you want to really apply your voice and scream, that is where you should be screaming. You see, before 1987, we had mental hospitals where people could go. 87 came, Reagan took it away, the funding, and then Michigan Engler came and killed it completely. So that is where we need to focus, is to help these people get the proper help. So it's in the proper context. Because telling somebody to give up their right to defend themselves, you're no different than the bullies are in school, because the gun is just a right to defend yourself. It doesn't matter if it's a handgun or a rifle or a pea shooter or a musket loader. Because if you don't have those, guess who wins? The biggest, strongest guy. A gun's an equalizer. A 90-pound-year-old woman, or 90-pound woman, has the same ability to protect herself as a 300-pound man with a gun. You strip that ability away, you strip away people's rights to defend themselves. And then you're back to the whole school situation in micro, what is now happening in macro. And a lot of you are going to have an agenda to argue one way or the other. And I'm telling you from my own experience, boils down to kids need help. Parents probably need help with the kids because the parents themselves need help. But until we get around the stigmatism of people getting help for being emotionally and mentally in trouble, we're going to have this manifest in some other way or another. The opioid epidemic, all of it. It's all systemic. It's all from people operating out of fear of not being safe, fear of not being loved, fear of being anything, not being adequate. It's fear. It's an emotional, spiritual problem. And no church isn't going to necessarily solve it. It may solve it for some, but it's not a guaranteed answer. At the end of the day, we as a society have to make some discussions. The guns aren't the issue. It's the issue that the people need help. Period. And we have to be okay with saying that. And we have to be not teasing the people that need the help. I know firsthand. My dad was bipolar and schizophrenic. Go look those two up and put that in a cup of soup and stir it around. You're a mess. My dad was a mess. And everybody my dad hung out with was equally as mentally as ill as he was. So I got to see firsthand mental illness in various stages. Lived with it. Changed me as a human. And affected me in so many ways. So I know I've posted some stuff on here that's made you all rowdy and everybody's giving their opinions because it's a passionate and charged up issue about guns. But guns aren't the issue. The issue is that we all need to help each other. With mental illness or emotional distress. All of it. Everywhere from the schools on up. So that's all I got to say about it. Hope you took the time to listen to all this. Know that I love you and I'm here if you ever need to reach out and just chat. Until then, take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon and thanks for watching.